I really like this song. It sounds good. Mine it away. I don't know.
Hey guys, Pikapaw here, and welcome to my island. Now, as you can see by this title, this is a PUBG guide video which will teach you the bells and whistles of what you need to survive in PUBG. And don't you worry, I'm legit. There's a dead squad on this island in order to make this footage. But first, a toast of victory! So let us go over the topics for today, such as where to drop, and of course, how to play the game modes. And without further ado, let us get into it. So when you first log in, make sure your region server isn't default selected for Asia. Unless you want a congestion of Chinese people, that is.
No, I will not take your sacrifice offering! No! Keep fighting! You will live! I promise! Fuck! Shut up!
Okay. Anyways, there are 4 game modes which basically include casuals, tryhards, memes, and meh. And third person mode is basically China. Although there have been petitions to attempt to region lock China. Yeah. So let's move on to the miscellaneous tabs. First being your character customization. Please stop watching this. This game is already dying. Where really the only piece of clothing worth obtaining is a skirt. Woo! Okay.
Ooh, look at my beautiful little skirt! Woohoo!
Other than that, everything else is insignificant. Now moving on. Now, there were a multitude of loot boxes back then, but the cosmetics are meh most of the time, and loot boxes do increase in price for each one you purchase, up to a max of 7,000 BP until the Sunday reset. So in conclusion, crates aren't really worth it, unless you're the luckiest man alive, that is. And as for the career tab, you have your stats in how you and/or your team does in every player mode, which can be either great or disappointing depending on the region. This also does reset every week. Leaderboard, nobody cares about. It's mostly gonna be a Chinese dude, a hacker, or a really good player, every now and then. And these are just your replays for you to complain about your deaths, which only save your most 20 recent games. Yeah, have fun with that. Now you know the basics of the lobby. I'm sure you're ready to embark on a magical journey of a first-person shooter. Alright, let's go!
I hate niggers.
Welcome to the lobby. What you will find here once spawned in is a cluster of regressed human beings, mental retardation, African Americans, China #1s, memes, and maybe camaraderie. Who knows?
This one plays a song, ready? Come here. Come here, Andy.
But aside from that, this lobby is your bread and butter, and where you will be pitted against 99 other players, unless you are doing squads, of course. Enjoy it while that one guy screams into his mic.
Oh, I can't feel my legs.
Okay, we're going.
Okay, we're going to school.
Okay.
Welcome to the art of dropping. There is a prayer that we always recite before dropping. Where we droppin', boys. Now, PUBG so far has 2 maps, with an additional one currently being developed, Arangel and Miramar. They both are the same size, but obviously have their own distinct environment and cities, some being more popular than others, and for good reason.
God, dude!
This is a hell of a game. Everybody
Everyone go Picado. There's 11 of us. Don't pussy out. Picado.
But I'll explain that later. The game starts by a random generated plane path and lets you parachute to whatever location of your choice, some usually being more accessible to you. But that is where the risks come in. The cities.
Tanky!
Go to school. We're heading straight over school.
Fuck school.
But you said school earlier, you fuck.
As for cities and loot, it definitely is subjective to where you want to land. But these places on the map have the highest risk and reward. And if you really want to fight, If you are confident that you can kill somebody, then I do recommend landing these places. But at the same time, I hope you don't die. So unless you're gonna outgun the entire server, try dropping somewhere less populated. Knock it out, Tom. Time for the weapons. Just like any typical shooter game, we all have our own playstyle of approach. Although some can definitely be questionable for certain situations. Starting at the low tier, the pistols. Not gonna go too much into depth with these. I mean, these are just most commonly used when you literally can't find a better weapon at the beginning of the game. Unless you have the godlike pan.
I have a Winnie and
That's all.
Okay. Oh god, where are you, dude? I got you. Oh shit! Where'd you go?
Again, these are very situational weapons and are treated as a last resort, you know, and you can choose whether or not you want to do more damage or shoot faster and vice versa. And same thing goes for shotguns more or less, so I won't really be going over that. And next is the decent tier. This tier holds mostly the SMGs, which are obviously more reliable during mid-game. The Micro Uzi, the Vector, the UMP, and the Tommy gun. And the UMP being the choice SMG to be able to compete against other assault rifles due to its overall balanced stats. Yep, it's a good SMG.
Okay, well, 2 of them are down. Or 1 of them is finished.
And next is the standard tier. These are the rifles that will usually be with you for the entirety of the game, provided you don't loot a package, of course. The Scar L, the M16A4, the M416, and the AKM. The M416 is usually the most preferred one right now due to its all-around good stats and modifications. And I'm not gonna go over every single modification because I'm pretty sure you can figure out what a scope does. So, to be brief of which each one does, here are their stats. The compensator, flash hider, suppressor, low rails, and maybe some of the stocks are really the ones you need to know, but it's really just preference. Okay, I think it's about time to move on to the next tier. Yeah. Welcome to the strong/sniper tier. This tier will include all the snipers with the expulsion of 1, and of course package items. Starting with the normal snipers, the Kar 98, SKS, and Mini 14. The Kar as being the most preferred regular sniper due to its high damage, accuracy, and range, but having a very high fire rate. Unlike its other sniper friends, which have a low fire rate, but do not have as much range or accuracy. And like always, it's preference. Although obviously, for certain situations, you might prefer the other 2 snipers in a closer range combat. Unless you're gonna hit your car shots, of course, but Time for the care package! Aside from finding things like the Swamp Monster and Adrenaline Shots, these house the endgame items like the M249, Groza, the AUG, MK14, M24, and of course, the legendary AUM. Just think of these weapons as our regular spawned ones on steroids, because that is essentially what they are. There really aren't any downsides to these guns besides having a longer reload time, but that should be quite common for these guns since they're just better in general. And if they have a slot open for a quick draw mag, you should be able to compensate with that. And as for the AUM and the M24, it's quite clear it's loud, powerful, and accurate, and slow. The M24 being the little brother to the AUM. That's really all I have to say. If you manage to loot a package, you are very lucky.
Oh god. Andy, hit your fucking shot.
Now, as for vehicles,
hate this fucking game.
I have no helmet.
I'm shooting.
Oh, he got me.
Jelly.
Nergigle. Okay, run over.
Oh, nope, not this time.
Dude,
Dude.
if I get a pickup, I'm bleeding out pretty fast.
I killed him in a vehicle explosion.
I'm nade and then just bounces off the wall and cucks me. Whip, yes!
Oh my god. Oh, fuck!
Holy shit.
Oh god, oh, we
Oh
died!
my god!
We're so dead, we're dead, we're dead, we're dead.
I found an AR suppressor.
I don't know, dude. I'm beaching this. Oh!
Hello?
What?
I feel like people went there though.
I know.
Oh,
Oh my god.
Wait, what? What happened?
Okay.
oh my god.
What the?
Oh my god.
I'm doing it!
Oh, the Vine's a pro at this. Who made that shit?
Oh my god. We got it. Like, no. Oh my god. We're doing so much.
Victory scream!